earlier previous videos. I don't know if you watched it or not. I worked as an electrician since basically I graduated my first technical school in 2005, the apprenticeship and everything, and I was always working for somebody. I worked for manufacturing jobs, commercial, residential, in just electrical field. I was doing more on residential side, and then when I got into maintenance, I was all industrial, you know, big stuff, 480, some 1200 volt stuff, transformers, step down transformers, that kind of stuff. But basically, going back to what I was saying, I hope it brings the value to some people, because basically when I started, I got my license in Virginia, because I moved from New Jersey to Virginia. I got my master license 3 years, I believe, and I started working by myself, and then eventually got some help. Yeah, and basically I watched tons of these videos, you know, from people that just like me, different contractors, and tried to learn the basically ins and outs, even like financing, you know, how to run a business. It was all new to me, because basically this is like my legit business. It's my first one, so there was tons of information I needed to find out, and I hope like people like just like me, you know, that starting to go on their own, either they're still apprentices and they're looking into getting their master's license and opening their own business, and maybe they're getting some value. I hope they are. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of critics. It's a lot easier just to sit on the couch and criticize people. There was one comment that I read, you know, I'm a bilingual, actually I speak 3 languages, and there was one guy, he's like, oh, what do you smoke? Do you just smoke crack or something? You speak funny. I'm like, you know, I try my best, you know, I'm not a coach guru, and I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to, you know, help some people and help myself. Obviously there is no money in it. I don't, like I said, you know, I learn from people just like me, and I'm not calling myself super knowledgeable. I'm just, you know, I'm just a guy that trying to make a buck, you know, and trying to do it right. You know, got my licenses, my certificates, and trying to make it right, you know, doing all my stuff. Obviously, you know, if I do something that you not agree with, you can comment me, and I try to reply to you. And obviously I'm still learning. There's tons of things that I would like to learn. Like I said, commercial, like running a business in the commercial industry, it's a new task for me. I mostly do residential new construction, just because it's easier to train people. It's easier to schedule, you know, because basically if you start a project, even if it's a small house, you're going to be there for a couple of days, and you don't have to run from job to job. Because when I started 3 years ago running my own business, I started doing residential, like basically service calls. You know, people call you for like, oh, my outlet ain't working. All right, you come in if you know what's going on. You pretty much, I mean, if you're good at troubleshooting, because there's people that, you know, they don't get how to troubleshoot a circuit, and they're gonna be there for a few hours until they find it, if they get lucky. But I have extensive and training and job experience troubleshooting things, because even on industrial side, and when I worked for residential, residential company. I was basically the last year and a half, I think, working for them. I was a troubleshooting guy. Basically, it was a new construction mostly, and basically guys would basically most of them they didn't have much experience because it was one of those shops where it was all about quantity. They were really underbidding everybody, and that's why they were, they were doing good in business. But so basically, I was going after those people, new guys, and I would basically troubleshoot what they messed up, where they missed a jumper. I would run it, I would troubleshoot circuits, whatever, finish projects, and that was my task. So now, when I run my own business, I have, thanks to that experience, it's a lot easier for me to troubleshoot things just because you gotta visualize, So basically, if you have the walls, and you gotta kind of visualize how they ran the circuitry, and basically, obviously, if it was add-ons and the circuit doesn't run from point A to point B, and then basically it goes back and forth, then you kind of gotta use a testing equipment. But if it was a new construction, you kind of pretty much know that the first jumper that feeds the circuit is gotta be closest to your panel, so that's where you start, and so on and so on. So going back to now, basically when I was doing service calls, it was good money, but it wasn't consistent. It was really difficult to schedule. So pretty much if I would go to a service call, that would just be like an outlet ain't working. Well, sometimes it could take me literally 30 minutes or 20 minutes in and out. So I wasn't feeling comfortable, charging people for 30 minutes. So for instance, if your hourly rate is like $80 or $100, you would think you would charge per trip charge. For instance, if your trip charge is $100 and your hourly rate $100, so it's like $150. But the thing is, since you're a small guy and you're a one-truck guy starting, if you really charge $150 and then you have two other jobs, so if you really made, $350, $400, it doesn't worth, having your own business. The only way I see, running a business that service work is where you can schedule jobs back to back. Now, basically, if I would go to service jobs, I would probably start. When you start, people don't really know you, so you don't have 10 jobs lined up for the day, service jobs. So it's basically, it doesn't really worth my time having 2-3 jobs that pay you at the end of the day, after you pay all your expenses, insurances, gas, for your gas truck, and everything overhead. If you're making max $400, it just doesn't work. But you might as well work for somebody. That's why I figured doing new construction is a lot simpler to schedule, and it just makes more sense to me. So I guess this is my explanation, what I do and why I do it. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of successful people that do just service work. Like I said, if your name is out there, you've been in business, and you can book your day every single day, at least 6 hours out of the day, you're good, Or I know there's plenty of people that would charge, if they've been only there for an hour, they would charge, $400. I mean, I know some people do it. I mean, maybe you should be the same. I just didn't feel comfortable telling people after I've been there for an hour, pay me $400. It's just, I mean, maybe one day, it wasn't my thing. I wasn't feeling like I mean, the value was kind of there, but a lot of people don't understand the overhead of the business and all that. So that's why I figured, you know, new construction, you deal with general contractors. They know the pricing, they know the value of your work, and, you know, they appreciate what you do. As long as you do it on a timely matter, as long as you do it right, as long as you pass the inspection, as long as you don't you don't do no shortcuts, you know, and you do the job right, they're happy, you're happy, and this is all that matters. You know, we're here to make money. We're here to the only reason why you want to be a business owner, that basically make good living. The people that are actually saying, "Oh, I'm a business owner because I want to have the freedom," I'm sorry. Maybe if you have a huge corporation, have maybe 30 shops throughout the states, and you're that kind of business owner, and you have managers placed in place, you have a CEO and stuff like that, maybe you're gonna have freedom. But if you're just a small contractor, maybe have a couple of helpers, maybe 2-3 trucks, or even, you know, one, there is no freedom. It's basically self-employment. You got to be there every day. Maybe you go on vacation, you know, for a week here and there, but basically the whole reason why most of people do this, not because having the freedom, but because they want to make, you know, a couple extra dollars instead of working for somebody. Because if you're working for somebody in the state where I live, which is Virginia, if you're a journeyman, no lie, right? I know I was online looking at what people pay to their experienced journeymans here for residential/commercial jobs. They pay like $25, and you gotta have experience. So $25 an hour, and you gotta, the housing market, you know, like if you wanna buy a house here, you gotta spend at least $350,000. So having that kind of expenses and trying to live on $25 an hour is just kind of unrealistic, and people still do it. They just struggle more. So like some people, like, I can't say I was in better shape, you know, I was making a lot more, and I was doing good, but basically most of the people that switch, you know, from working somebody and they open their own business just to make more money, basically. That's the bottom line. If people say anything else, I mean, I don't want to say they're all wrong, but that's from my experience. So, and I mean, there's other benefits, you know, having your own business. Like basically, I have 2 sons and a daughter. So if they ever decide to run in this business, taking over, one day I'll be more than happy, you know. I mean, I try to teach them, the boys, you know, as much as I could. I try to take them to safe job sites, because basically, obviously, you don't want to take your 12-year-old to a job site where there's, you know, people working on the roof and stuff. You gotta be playing safe, you know. If there are days that you feel it's safe for them to go to, that's one thing, but I would never expose my kids to danger, and I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. I know people do it, but it's their kids. So basically, this is my feedback. I hope you guys got some kind of value out of it, and for those people that thinking about starting their own business and they think they're gonna have freedom in construction, maybe eventually you will, but hey, actually you guys are gonna be more busier and more stressed out running your own business, so you gotta take that in consideration. I still work for a company, industrial company. On the maintenance side, I'm a ICT, instrumentation control technician. I do programming, PLC, Allen Bradleys and stuff like that. I do, so I mean, if that's going to be interesting for you, I could touch base with you on that subject. But yeah, in electrical field, I did a lot of different stuff. Basically, I started in the residential, then did some commercial, like light commercial. I didn't really run much conduit. I would like to eventually take on some bigger commercial jobs. I do have some offers coming in for like new builds, like stores and stuff. I had actually 2 or 3 jobs came in for a price quote to do AutoZone, Texas Roadhouse. There's a lot of construction going on right now where I live, and because I signed up to service leads, I mean they're free, but basically they can search your business and send you email asking for prices and stuff like that. So I get a lot of those jobs, but you know, to take on those jobs you gotta have, you know, at least 5-6 people, because you got other jobs going on. You can't just be tied to one job and be there 24/7. But I am looking forward to expand my my business into like heavier commercial jobs, but that's not happening this year for sure. So I mean, I do small commercial like this, you know. It only took me not too long, but I don't know, like 2 days. It was like a couple of guys, but this right here, it took me like hour probably. I gotta come back, and once they drywall it and inspect it and everything, I gotta come back and cut these boxes in. I still didn't cut them in, like you see, just because, I mean, I hate to do it and then they decide to move it. If they're not cut in, it's all one piece. I can still adjust where they are without running a new wire. So hopefully you guys got some value out of my talk. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people, there's going to be comments like, oh, you guys, you don't know what you're talking about. I agree with you. A lot of things I'm still learning. I'm not trying to, you know, be a teacher to anybody, but if you guys can get any kind of value out of this, I'll be more than happy helping you. All right, guys. Until the next time.